Thanks for joining me on episode 1135 of the Inspired Stewardship Podcast.
I'm Orly Waba. I challenge you to invest in yourself, invest in others, develop your influence, and impact the world by using your time, your talent, and your treasures to live out your calling. Focus on kindness is a key. And one way to be inspired to do that is to listen to this, the Inspired Stewardship Podcast, with my friend, Scott Mader.
And that's why it's really important that you need to be very careful in who you surround yourself with. Because what happens a lot is we see there on social media, we see this sort of false flag that people put forward of this false history of who they are and what they do and what they stand for.
Welcome and thank you for joining us on the Inspired Stewardship Podcast. If you truly desire to become the person who God wants you to be, then you must learn to use your time, your talent, and your treasures for your true calling. In the Inspired Stewardship Podcast, you will learn to invest in yourself, invest in others, and develop your influence so that you can impact the world.
In today's episode about impacting the world through stewarding your treasures, I talk with you about how community can help your financial focus. I talk about why you need to be careful in finding the community that supports you. And I also talk about why community can also detract from your finances if you aren't careful. As we talk about stewarding your treasures, wouldn't it be great if you could support this podcast and do it without costing yourself an extra dime? Turns out you can. All you have to do is use inspiredstewardship.com/Amazon when you're ready to make a purchase via Amazon, and a small commission will come back to support the show. If you enjoy the show when you're ready to buy from Amazon, just use inspiredstewardship.com/Amazon. Finances and money is one of those things that we often don't talk about with others. We often don't share. Most people don't know how much somebody else makes, what they're struggling with, how much debt they have, what's going on in their financial life. In fact, we tend to look at everyone else as if they're succeeding and growing and doing great things with their money, and we're the only ones that are struggling or having money problems or have worries about our money. And I can tell you as a financial coach, as somebody who's worked now with thousands of clients with their money, it's more universally true that we've all got certain things that we struggle with. It's why surrounding yourself with a community of people can really help. Surrounding yourself with people who are looking to do and achieve some of the things that you want. If you're looking to achieve financial independence, find other people that are striving for financial independence. But be careful. Make sure that your definition of financial independence and theirs are actually similar or the same. Because the fun thing that we can find out is a lot of times what people say, hey, I want this and you want this too, but you actually mean two different things by that. You don't actually mean the same thing. You're not actually after the same thing. Plug in and get to know the culture of the group. Plug in and find out what it really is that they're after. And what are they supporting each other? There's groups out there that help people that have spending habits or addictions, that do things like no spend challenges. There are groups that are focused on investing and building for the future and financial independence. There are groups that talk about how to save money through different hacks and attempts and different ways you can do that. There are ones that focus on the psychology of money and the behavior around money, because money is a highly emotionally charged topic. And that's why it's really important that you need to be very careful in who you surround yourself with. Because what happens a lot is we see there on social media, we see this sort of false flag that people put forward of this false history of who they are and what they do and what they stand for. And because of that, we get drawn in by that. And yet it's not the whole truth. It's not what's going on behind the scenes. You're looking for people that can be vulnerable and share openly and honestly with you, both the good stuff and the bad stuff. Because, see, you can plug in with the wrong community. I have seen people plug in with a community that actually encourages them in the very behavior that they were struggling with in the first place. The very thing that they went to the community for help with becomes something that the community actually encourages them to stay there. Maybe because the community's goals are actually different than the person who joined its goals, or maybe because that person plugs themselves in with people in the community that actually enjoy seeing someone else struggle. It's just the same thing about picking a coach. When I talk to people about picking a coach, the truth is picking the right coach is so important. It's why people have asked me, why do I have other coaches come on the show? Because I'm a coach. Why don't I just focus on what I do? Why do I bring other coaches on? And the truth is, if you get benefit from that other coach, if you hear a message from them that resonates with you, then I'm good with that. I don't have to be the coach of everyone. I should just focus on being the coach to the people that I'm the right fit for, that would get benefit from me. And the same thing goes with any community that you're part of. You're not looking for a community that is perfect for everybody. You're looking for the community that fits for you, that helps you achieve your goals, and that you can therefore help the other people in that community as well, because you have shared values, you have shared priorities, and you have shared goals. But what I want to encourage you in is those communities exist, those coaches exist, those people out there who will help you have the right mindset, focus on the right things, and get there exist. All you have to do is find them. Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much for listening to the Inspired Stewardship podcast. As a subscriber and listener, we challenge you to not just sit back and passively listen, but act on what you've heard and find a way to live your calling. If you like this episode on the stewardship of treasures, you can sign up for our treasures tips by going to inspiredstewardship.com/treasures or text in the U.S. 44222 treasures tips. And we'll send you 5 weeks of our best tips on stewarding your treasures. Until next time, invest your time, your talent, and your treasures. Develop your influence and impact the world.